Stream is live, Mayor.
Sounds good. We get to start?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I call this meeting of the Taneytown City Council to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilperson Cheney, please lead us in that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now on with roll call. So we have all of council present with one council person virtual. On the agenda, we have the approval of the minutes for the June 7th, 2023 regular meeting with corrections added, and the minutes from the June 12th, 2023 regular meeting, and the minutes from the open meeting preceding the June 12th, 2023 closed session. Do I have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. I would now like to ask any council members if they have any conflict of interest with the items on the agenda today. If so, please state it now.
None.
No.
Hearing none, right before we get to resolutions, ordinances, and agreements, I just wanted to give a happy birthday to Councilperson Diane Foster, as well as a birthday card.
Thank you.
And thank you for spending it with us today. Moving on to resolutions, ordinances, and agreements. We have 3 items for adoption tonight. First, we have ordinance 05-2023, which pertains to community village revisions, section 205-35.1. Do I have a motion to adopt this ordinance?
So moved.
With discussion first, right?
Well, if you want to go ahead and get a second, then we'll discuss.
Second.
Okay. So Clara was able to add the version that I emailed out that had the small changes regarding the townhomes. So it's based on Wednesday's discussion and seems like a small change, but since townhomes really aren't multifamily, this gets a step in the right direction to correct that. So we'll be back next month with some definition updates.
Okay.
Sounds good. Now that we have a second, is there any further discussion on it?
That's
Just maybe sure.
Should be good from Monday or from last Wednesday.
Yep. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Next, we have resolution 2023-10, which is about the water allocation for June. Do I have a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Third, we have resolution 2023-11, which sets the rules for Bollinger Park. Do I have a motion to adopt this ordinance or resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now move on to the city manager report.
Just one quick addition. We've been trying to schedule First Amendment audit training for staff here at the city, and it looks like we finally have a date for July 18th. So if any council members might be interested in sitting in on that, we're going to try to have 2 or 3 sessions so we can have as much of the staff participate in it as possible. And I will certainly email out the time slots once they're known, but I wanted to just give you the option to get it on your calendar. So I attended the training at the MML conference for this, and it provided some good examples of what to do and what not to do. So I think it will really be helpful here in the event we ever do have an auditor show up. And for those who aren't particularly familiar with it, First Amendment auditors basically come into a public place and video record individuals from the public space, and they're legally allowed to do so through the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of the press. Anyone can be press. And entities like municipalities need to be very cautious as to how they interact with these individuals. You may have seen on social media or other platforms videos of things where the government players didn't act appropriately, and they get lots of views, and they can trigger lawsuits. So we want to be ready just in case. So that's the 18th.
It's that one date?
It will be one date, yes. We'll have multiple sessions through the day, though.
Okay.
So I'll get the times as soon as Legit locks them in. And that's really the only update I have, unless folks have any additional questions from Wednesday night.
Next, we have the department reports. We just received the Taneytown Police Department report today, correct?
Yes.
Was there any questions regarding that, or everybody pretty satisfied with it?
No questions from me.
Sounds good.
I do have one minor question. There was some chatter on Facebook regarding the juveniles who were shooting fireworks into people's houses and vandalizing vehicles. Wonder what the progress was and status of that investigation. That was something that was brought up, and there was some request for transparency from the public, but I'm not sure how transparent we can be in the course of an open investigation.
As well as if juveniles were involved.
Right.
As well as if juveniles involved.
So I think the safest response to those will be that, well, if it is indeed juveniles, there's very little that we're going to be able to say. But again, I think you hit it on the head as far as not commenting on an ongoing investigation. Okay, it looks like we have video at this point, so we may have video for Jay's report coming up.
Sounds good. With no more stuff on the department reports, I'm looking at the legal report.
Hey, I'm glad the video's fixed because I wore a tie for you all tonight, so I wanted you to see that.
You look really good, Jay.
Anyway, I don't have anything more to add from my report from last week. I did receive some inquiries about my legal report that I sent you, which is great. If you have any other inquiries, just feel free to email me or call, and I can tell you what it means, because I know it's a little cryptic because I'm trying to get it all in one line in a little box. And I'm going to update that as we go forward, try to once a month, so you can see what the pending issues are and get rid of the ones that I'm not involved in anymore. So I think that will make you understand what I'm doing, and then you can direct me if there's other things you want. That's what I got.
Sounds good. Do we have any questions for the legal? Hearing none, we're going to go into new business. First up, we have the accounts, or the monthly financial report. Do I have a motion to approve the report as given? Do I have a second?
I will second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Next, we have the accounts payable. Do I have a motion to approve the accounts payable as presented?
I move to accept the accounts payable report as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Last for new business, we have the license agreement for Bollinger Park encroachment. Do I have a motion to approve this agreement?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I have a question on that. What is this all about, actually? I obviously occurred before the new council came in. Apparently, there's a property owner that's encroaching on the park. Is that the idea?
That's correct. When the current owners purchased the property, there were two small sheds that were
I
beyond the
saw the
property
pictures
boundary.
and everything, yeah.
Right. And they did erect a swimming pool that's part of the swimming pool encroaches onto, like, I think two and a half feet of it encroaches onto the city property. Since those things have been in place for quite some time and the climate with the neighborhood out there is not great regarding the park, we felt it was appropriate. And this is not near any developed part of the park. So we decided that it was the best course just to come up with an agreement to let those things remain as long as these owners are there. And then when these owners leave, the encroachments will have to be removed.
Are we charging him for that?
We are not.
How much area is involved, you know?
It's about, gosh, the pool area is probably about the arc of the council table that's over the line. So it's just like the last, 3 feet or so of the edge of the pool. And the sheds are probably 100 to 120 square feet, maybe 10 by 10 at the biggest. And they've been there for 20 plus years.
The lease is for the current property owners. When they leave,
The encroachments go also.
their responsibility to remove the structures, or is it our responsibility to move the structures? Is that addressed?
Yes, it is addressed,
It,
Mr. McCarron. They have to remove the structures. And if the structures get removed before then because they're no good or they fall down, they can't be replaced.
Okay.
It was also my understanding that they're supposed to clean
I
up
could
all the
just
extraneous junk.
envision that being our job when that day comes, so we ought to have that specified if it's not.
Yep, it is specified that it's their
All right.
responsibility.
Thank you. That's all the questions I had.
Sounds good. Going back down to Claire, we had a second on that, correct?
Yes, it was
Me.
seconded.
Sounds good. I'm going to go into the voting for all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. Next, we have the council member reports, starting from left over at Councilmember Tillman.
The Planning Commission finished up their work on the revised Community Village ordinance, which we just voted on. And there was a lot of discussion about that, trying to get that really right. So that was probably the thing that took up the most time. Other than that, there are a few pending minor development things. VAPCO is looking at expanding their offices. There's the Recovery 180 facility at Harney Road, and a few other facilities that are, a few other things that are minor and much more minor in nature that occupy the rest of our time. And we're hoping this month to actually get back, started working on the updates to the comprehensive plan.
Fingers crossed, but we'll see.
That's the plan, anyway.
Councilmember Cheney?
Okay, so as far as the police department is concerned, there's been a lot of training happening. All active officers receive child abuse and child exploitation training, as well as human trafficking and victims' rights for crimes and delinquent acts training. PFC Marshall has received his provisional police officer certification and has started field training. He has also undergone specialized training in Taneytown Police Lateral Officer Training, which was 22 hours. CTS Less Lethal Impact Munitions Operator Certification. He has also received firearms training and qualifications. And he and Lieutenant Castellar participated in CPR and first aid for severe trauma training. There were 351 calls for service and 52 total citations issued in the last month, 100 warnings issued, 11 adult arrests, and 2 juvenile arrests. The good news is, through community outreach at the Fireman's Carnival from June 12th through June 17th, the department provided security for the event and was able to have a lot of positive interaction with the community. On June 21st, PFC Eccles went to New Beginnings Learning Center to give a presentation for Heroes Week. He taught the children through an interactive presentation about the police department and the functions of a police officer. They were able to ask questions and play through certain scenarios with him. And then on June 23rd, the children from New Beginnings Learning Center came and took a tour of the police department and a police vehicle and saw the training equipment. Upon completion of the tour, they were given child identification kits and other police-related crafts and activities to take home. So some good community engagement happening there.
Kind of brief, seems like I've been on vacation for the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks, but before I went, MML, I met with Mish and hoped to get some answers about why we can't get Main Street moving. And I didn't get very many. Offered some suggestions, and he offered some suggestions, and I think if we follow through on those suggestions, we'll be able to get it off dead center. I have not followed, I talked to him briefly this morning on another matter, but have not followed up specifically, just simply because I've been out of pocket until, but I plan to do that this week to find out more about that. There was a particular, I noticed everybody gave their consensus on the MML convention. Of course, I wasn't able to do that, and I would like to just offer, there was a session I went to that was particularly interesting and had to do with the First Amendment auditor issues. And that's quite a thing, quite serious. I don't know, I talked to Neil Roop a little bit, and the idea was maybe to try to get an MML chapter agenda set up to focus on that, but the auditor basically is someone, a member of the public or somebody that's makes his living off of TikTok or something, that comes to your office and just starts photographing. And the way you treat that person is he's trying to get a response out of you, or she's trying to get a response out of you, so that you can open yourself up to lawsuits or bad press or whatever the motive happens to be. But it's something that really each one of our department heads ought to know about. And then they ought to, I asked at the meeting if they could, if we would have that slide deck available. I think that would be an excellent thing to present at a staff meeting, Jim, to the department heads or something like that. Maybe you've already done that, I don't know.
That's what I was referring to a little bit earlier, that we have the training scheduled for the 18th. Legit's going to come here and provide the training for staff.
Well, there would be plenty of reason to become irritated with a person like that had a
Yes.
camera in your face and wasn't responding. The basic premise was that these auditors can come into a public building and wander around to their heart's content, unless there are signs posted, private office or staff only or something like that, posted on the doors. They have free access to anything that they want to see, including stuff that's left laying on the desk. And was issues where somebody would leave the desk and the guy would take pictures of what was on the desk, things like that. So it's it could be a very serious thing, and it's something we ought to try to either as a chapter or as we need it for our town, but I just think that all the department heads should be aware of this. They could show up on their doorstep any day. It's not just a Prince George's County thing. It's something that could happen to us. So that's basically what I wanted to relate from the MML conference. It was good to be back and make renewal acquaintances from years ago and things like that. But that was a pretty impactful session. So I hope we can follow up and do something about that.
Yep, in the works.
That's
And-
all I have.
Yeah, and just FYI, we're also coordinating with Manchester and New Windsor and Union Bridge on that. So the other towns, some other towns, smaller towns are going to be invited also.
Councilmember Foster.
Okay, as I'm sure everybody is aware, Habitat for Humanity has broken ground and full steam ahead with the build.
They're digging today.
Yeah, so we're all happy to see that. As far as Silver Oak Academy, I have sort of an emergency meeting tomorrow. Supposed to bring us up to date. We'll see how up to date we are, if there's anything to report. With Department of Public Works, I had the director send me a direct answer that Councilman Tillman had a question about for the leak under the stairs. And he did that. I shared that with Councilman Tillman. But I'd also like to bring to the attention of the council members that we have some very dedicated employees in the Department of Public Works who work very hard at a dirty job. And they don't complain, and they know what they're doing. So we don't need to question them on every little thing that they do. They know what they're doing, and they do it well. So I just wanted to make that comment. Habitat Silver, that's it.
Sounds good. Councilmember Fuller.
Okay, I'm gonna leave my camera off just so I know that the mic will work properly. I want to start with saying that July is National Park and Recreation Month. So I'm just going to read what Lorena, our Parks and Rec director, had written on Facebook. Since 1985, people in the United States have celebrated Park and Recreation Month in July to promote building strong, vibrant, and resilient communities through the power of parks and recreation, to recognize the staff and volunteers that improve, maintain, and plan events and programs in our country's local, state, and community parks. Let's celebrate our Taneytown parks and how they bring us together and enrich our community. And then, let's see, the Independence Day celebration was a success. They didn't have a real count, but there were definitely hundreds based on the coverage of the park's open areas and the amount of cars that had to be directed out of the park after the fireworks. It was a great show by Fantastic Fireworks, and we thank everyone for coming out and spending the evening with us. The next event is going to be on Saturday the 15th for Family Movie Night at Memorial Park. The movie is Jesus Revolution, and the show starts at 8:45. Earlier in the day, from 9 to 2, the FSK FFA Alumni Association Car, Truck, Tractor, and Motorcycle Show is going to be happening at Memorial Park. Our annual Family Fun Food Truck Friday event is scheduled for Friday, July 21st from 5 to 8 p.m. There will be pony rides, a petting zoo, bounce house, games, a DJ, and some great food trucks, Taco Trap House, Tasties, It's All Good, Amber's Bake Shop, The Ice Bowl, Husky Hut Coffee Company, and The Cow. Lorena said, the fun is free, but the food is not. Carroll County Arts Council is holding the first annual Taneytown Artisan Fest on Saturday, July 22nd from 10 to 4. That's also at Memorial Park. It's going to be fine art and craft displays by regional and local artists that apparently the art can be purchased, food vendors, live music, and free craft activities for the kids. Summer tennis clinics and the HAP Keto program have kicked off and will run this week at Memorial Park. They've also added an adult tennis clinic for September and are already receiving registrations on that. Yoga in the park continues through August and is really being enjoyed by those attending the classes. And I think that is it. That's enough.
That's good, thank you. So before we go into the next thing, just so everybody is aware that's watching online, we are aware of audio issues and they are being worked. So if you experience any of those with this meeting or previous meetings, just know they are being worked and we're aware of them. Other than that, we will be looking to move into a closed session pursuant to the general provisions article of the Maryland Annotated Code, Section 3-305B1I, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of an appointee, employee, or official over whom it has jurisdiction. And we will also be going into it for Section 3-305B3 to consider the acquisition of real property for a public purpose and matters directly related to the acquisition. Does that suffice
I'll defer to the city attorney, but we might want to point out that we will not be returning to open session after the adjournment of the closed session.
That is true, we will not be,
Suffices, so you can
that
hear it from
suffices.
me.
Thank you.
After such, we will not be returning to an open meeting. Do I have a motion to move into closed session?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Bye.
All those opposed say nay. Thank you. Next, I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn with a 10-minute recess between now and the closed session. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you.